Sustainability for me has everything to do with the balance in the ecosystem. Our planet is a few million years old. We're growing up to 9 billion people, and it's very important that as the population grows and as we all want comfort for our lives, that we keep the ecosystem in balance by using the scarce raw materials very, very carefully. The textile industry now realizes it's one of the most polluting industries in the world. And because they realize this, they're really trying to find solutions about which raw materials they use, which kind of production process they use, to still give consumers very comfortable and great looking clothing without impacting the environment in a very negative way. But also the consumers are much more aware about the clothing they buy, about how many clothes they buy, and that also is driving the trend to much more sustainable clothing. It's indeed a very big problem that a lot of our garments end up in landfill, and that should really be avoided, or the negative impact of the landfill should be avoided. And there are three elements that are really contributing to that. Number one is that you have organizations like Sustainable Apparel Coalition that are developing the HIC index to really make sure that designers know each raw material and the impact of that on the end of life. Number two is that these designers can then actually use raw materials that do not have the same negative impact once they're being landfilled. And number three, of course, is the consumers that needs to look at the labels and need to understand which of the raw materials in their garments is bio-based and is also biodegradable. And there I'm thinking of products like cotton, I'm thinking of products like recycled wool or wool, and I'm thinking about the wood-based cellulosic fibers that are fully bio-based but also biodegradable. In three words, number one for me is the identity. Number two for me is responsibility. And number three is really the consciousness. Why? When I talk about identity, the way how I'm dressed gives the impression I want to be perceived by the environment. So if I'm in business, I wear a suit. If I'm in my free time, I'm wearing casual clothes. When I'm in a sports club, I'm wearing sports clothes. So I can express myself and I can express my mood. When it comes down to responsibility, it's the responsibility of the producers that create the fashion. It's the responsibility of the fabric producers that need to buy raw materials that are sustainable, that need to have production processes that are sustainable and responsible. And then when it comes to consciousness, it's all about the consumer. It has to be very conscious about what raw materials, what kind of garments do they buy, what is in the garments, which kind of fibers that these garments contain, and of course the end of life, that after they don't use the garments anymore, they know how to dispose of these garments. What we want is we want to still continue to buy the clothes we like. So for us to have all the clothes we like, but at the same time not have a negative impact on the environment, we need to consider the circular economy. We need to make sure that the garments we buy can be actually recycled at the end of life, that they don't have a negative impact on the environment, and we can use them again for the next generation of garments. Sustainable clothing can definitely be fashionable. I think that at this moment there are so many examples from leading brands and retailers, be it Levi's, be it Zara, be it Mara Hoffman, be it Stella McCartney, that create beautiful garments, all based with sustainable materials. So I think in any occasion, sustainable fashion is a very, very great option.